Hello and welcome back to Redirecting. I wanted to do this video real quick because I kind of had a thought that came to my mind as I was returning home. I was traveling today, and you encounter people. You encounter a lot of Gentiles in certain areas that you're in, and some of them are very accommodating and trying their best to be cordial or kind or what have you when they see black people going about their business. They try to be very kind and accommodating. But then you have others who make it very clear that there are thoughts going around or going on in their minds. One couple in particular I saw, the husband stood there with a very starchy look on his face. They were an older couple, very starchy, but he had somewhat of a little bitty smirky smile, like, okay, I'm not going to speak, but I'll give you a smirky smile, right? And then the wife, she had this look as if, don't say nothing to me, don't look at me, I don't care about you, I don't care about your children. How dare you walk around here acting like you're free? That's the thought that came to my mind as I was returning from my travels today. How dare you walk around acting like you're free or trying to be free? That was the look that I can see in this woman's face. And I read people very well. And so when I'm dealing with Gentiles, or should I say anyone, I kind of get a feel for them just by looking at their face before I even motion to speak or anything like that. You can kind of look at a person's face to tell if they want you to speak to them or if they will respond or reciprocate if you do. And so in reading both of their faces, it was very clear to me that they didn't even want to be in the same space as black people. And so I had two of my children with me, and they are getting to the point where they can read faces as well. You see, our oldest son, Aliyah, he's a lot more easygoing with things, even if they have those looks or what have you. He's the kind that is the break the ice type of person. He deals with a lot of different attitudes on his job, and he has a very unique way of breaking the ice, even with the starchiest of racist. You see. Although we do tell him to be careful, I said a racist mind thinks differently. They have a retaliatory way about them. They want to get back at you or retaliate. So we pray for him in regards to those things. And we also tell him to be careful and don't go too far with certain things because they are different. I mean, he's already had incidents where they have tried to get him into trouble or tried to draw him into things. I mean, that's just the way it is. That's the way a racist mind thinks. And so I think it's important that we talk about these things and that our children are schooled on these things. I have a lot of people, when I talk on certain subjects, they say, well, I don't think we should care what they think about us. It's not that we care what anyone thinks about us. We have to be wise to what we are dealing with and who we are dealing with, especially with our children, because this is why we'll see videos of things happening in the world. Let me get another view because that's going to be kind of dark. We'll see things happening in the world, and our children have no idea what's going on because we're not teaching them on anything. They are shocked and surprised when certain things happen to black people. They're in tears, some of them confused, not knowing or understanding what has happened. It's like, what happened? Why did they do this? Why are they treating us this way? And this is because we are not preparing them. We're not teaching them. We think that we're protecting our children by not discussing racism with them. You don't protect them by not discussing the racism. You protect them by preparing them for it. We're never going to be in a post-racial society. Not until the millennial. So that being said, why have them walking around in la la land thinking that everything is going to be all right with every encounter? as long as they smile and as long as they're nice and as long as they have the bobblehead, yes, a massa syndrome. No, we can't teach our children to be that way. We've got to teach them to be very wise and not fearful, but understanding how to navigate in and around this world. We've got to teach them that. And we've got to be very thorough with teaching them that because, again, like I said about our oldest son, Elijah, his interactions with people, period, regardless to what their race is very, very, I'm going to say he's very smart with how he interacts with people. He interacts with racist. He interacts with just normal people, black people, white people, old, young. You know, I think he says one of his supervisors, he's not white, he's not black. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's one of the Native Americans or something like that, or what people think of as Native American. I could be wrong on the race, but I know he's not black or white. But anyway, he talks about how this particular supervisor really looks out for him and is really kind of like a big brother type situation. And this is because the way he carries himself around people. Elijah commands and demands respect in the workplace. And that's the way we've taught him. He's got a lot of that from his parents because I can remember incidents in the workplace that where I had to literally go toe to toe with a supervisor who was doing me wrong. And I called them out in front of the owner of the company, and the owner of the company congratulated me and applauded me and reprimanded this person because of how they were treating me and how I handled the situation. I called a meeting on them, and we sat down and I laid it all out. Yes, I did. And so that's how our son Elijah works. He's like, okay, we're going to talk about this. You're not going to do this to me and just get away with it. We're going to sit down and we're going to get to the bottom of this and we're going to talk about this. You see? And so we've got to teach our children how to operate and to navigate in a world where they are expected to have the bobblehead syndrome. Some of you may have heard me talk about that before, and I call the bobblehead syndrome is where when you get in the presence of white people or people of other races, you just nod your head, bobbing your head back and forth, kind of like, yes, massa. You know, we don't have to do that, family, okay? I'm not making fun of our people that do that because they were never taught, but it's very disturbing to me, I must say that. I had a chance to meet one of my son's co-workers at his old job before he started working where he's working now. And one of his co-workers was a young black man who he was in his 30s. We got a chance to meet him one time. And before my son got his vehicle, we were picking him up from work. And we picked this young man up too. And took him to where he was going. And just listening to the conversation on the ride, taking this young man home, it was really, truly sad. He really sounded as if he was back in slavery days, dealing with a slave master. And the way his voice sounds, his interactions and everything, I felt so sorry for him because some of our people cannot conduct themselves around white people. And when they talk about white people, it's with such reverence, like, oh, I got to do what Master say and Master this and Master that, their whole mentality. And this is because someone needs to teach and train our young people from an early age how to navigate through this world, but to keep your respect and dignity and not allow someone to take that away from you because they think they are superior. Our children need to understand that just because these people don't want us walking around free, of course, I know that there are some things that are happening where we are not truly free, but you know what I mean when I say they don't want us to walk around free. They literally want us in chains, some of them. Some of them don't want us to have anything. They don't want us to do anything. They're okay if we are downtrodden, you see. And so I think it's very important that we teach our children how to hold their head up in a godly way, okay? To where we are honoring our Father, but we are not bowing our heads in shame to people who don't deserve to be revered. Okay, they can have these starchy looks and they can have these funky attitudes. They can do whatever they want and say whatever they want. But at the end of the day, we don't have to respond to them in a vulgar way. We don't have to get upset because they don't want to speak to us. We don't have to respond in a way to where we feel offended that they don't want to be in our presence. So be it. Okay, that goes two ways. If you're racist, I don't want to be in your presence either, okay? I don't care if you're black or white, if you have a certain way about you. Of course, I don't believe that black people can be racist. But when I say even a black person with a nasty attitude, I don't want to be in their presence either. No more than I want to be in the presence of a wicked, angry, racist person. Okay, and so when they go out of their way to show us that they are not interested in being in our presence or speaking to us or being around us, so be it. The feeling is mutual. And so we must teach our children, okay, how to keep their self-respect and dignity, how to understand who they are dealing with so that they are not shocked and surprised when they get older and trying to figure out, why is it that these people don't like us? Why are they looking at us? Why are they treating us this way? Our people should never respond like that. Whenever I see our people on television, when something breaks out, and they're saying, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe they said this. I can't believe that this is happening in 2019. When I hear our people say that, I say, that poor thing. You po child, for you to say you can't believe that this is happening in 2019, where have you been for the past few decades? Were you just born yesterday? This is what happens when people ignore what happens to other people, and it only becomes real to them when it's happening to them. Since a very young age, I've had racial experiences, and I've shared many of them on this channel. I've been called the N-word so many times. Oh my goodness. I can't even, some people have never been called the N-word, and I've been called the N-word in my face directly. Now, we've lived in various parts of Michigan. Every area that I've been called the N-word has been in Michigan. Okay? In the state of Michigan. Okay, so it's very real up there. Okay, that was the battery is low on this CB radio, so let me just turn that down because it scared me for a minute. I forgot it was sitting here. But anyway, I've been called the N-word. I've been called so many things. I've been called Blackie. It's just, these different things prepared me for what we are witnessing today. And I've always paid attention to how differently we as a people have been treated. Now that I'm older, I know and I understand exactly what is happening. And I appreciate the revelation of why this is happening. So everything makes sense to me now. I'm not shocked. I'm not sitting in awe trying to figure out how to get it to stop, because it's not going to stop unless divine intervention takes place. And that's what we're waiting on. Some of you don't like to hear me say that, but there's nothing we can do of our own power. We are outgunned and outnumbered if you're trying to fight this battle in a natural sense. This is a spiritual battle we are in, black people. You may not see it, you may not understand it, but if you keep watching this channel, if you go to the Watch Me Reports channel, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. This is a spiritual battle that we're in. You can't honestly think that around the world, black people are downtrodden to this degree without some type of spiritual significance to it. There is a spiritual significance as to why we are in the condition and the state that we are in. Pardon me, I'm getting close to these noisy little yapping dogs. Those are my mom's babies. Those are her little yapping puppies. Well, they're not puppies anymore, but anyway. There is a spiritual significance to this family, and I just wanted to say this to you all. Teach your children. Don't let them walk around in Wonderland thinking that everything is all right. Make sure that they understand exactly the kind of world we're living in. So when they're out and about and they get these mean stares and looks from people, they will know exactly what is going on and how to deal with it. Okay, family? With that, I will say shalom.